The vitamin D intake that is going to be required to get everybody's serum level to 40 nanograms per milliliter or 100 nanomoles per liter, which is the lowest level that our scientist panel recommends, is going to be a lot higher than we thought. I'm Carol Baggerly with Grassroots Health, and we are partners in a very significant study that is going to be released this coming Monday on February the 21st, 2011. And Dr. Robert Heaney from Creighton University and one of the co-authors of the paper is here with me today to talk about these phenomenal findings. Dr. Heaney.
Grassroots Health has accumulated a database that is without peer anywhere in the world. We know now what happens at a population level. Some people respond more, some people respond less, so we have an idea of what it takes to move the whole population. We've had a pretty good idea in the last several years about what the average would do. If we increase the intake, say, by 1,000 international units per day, how much would the mean go up? But that doesn't answer the question of how much do we have to give in order to assure that nobody is below the level that we think is the bottom end of a healthy range. And that's what this study has provided for us for the first time. We've got an estimate of what that number is. Now, the average person can get up to 40 nanograms with an intake of probably somewhere in the range of 4,000 or 5,000 international units per day. But it's going to
Which
take
is a lot bigger than 600 international
units.
Which
is a lot more than is currently recommended, right. But what the Grassroots Health database now shows, because we've got nearly 4,000 individuals and their blood levels are factored into this conclusion. What the Grassroots Health database shows is it's going to take better than twice that 4,000 in order to make certain that nobody is left behind with a level that is below what we think is the bottom end of the healthy range.
And everybody's always going to say, but is that safe?
Is that safe? Well, the answer is yes, it's safe. 10,000 international units per day, 15,000 international units is about what you would get with 15 minutes in the July sun at the beach.
Okay.
I mean, we know that that's safe. Nobody has gotten vitamin D intoxication from sun exposure. They might get a sunburn, but they don't get vitamin D intoxication. So yes, that's safe. And it's important to stress that. That's physiological. That's what we would have gotten as the human race was developing in equatorial East Africa, where we wore no clothes, you recall, and we got sun year-round.
I think it's really important to have that perspective to put it in, as opposed to just talking about intake or something. Is where does this need come from? And to put it in the perspective of that's what the body would get if it were left on its own in the sun.
And that's what the body is used to. Right. That's what the body is fine-tuned to have. It counts on getting that much vitamin D.
Okay. What else do you find significant about this study?
Well, I think the next most significant thing is the relative safety and the fact that the blood level doesn't climb as fast as we might have predicted from experience with low intakes. Right. Now you see what Grassroots has provided is a lot of experience with people getting above the current recommendations. And we now see that not only are they getting that, but in fact, one, it's safe, and two, the blood level isn't rising as fast as we might have thought.
Can you give us an example of what you mean by the blood level not rising as fast?
Well, as we take more vitamin D, it gets reflected in a specific compound that we measure in the blood called 25-hydroxyvitamin D. Mm-hmm. And that's the official way of measuring vitamin D status. And we would have thought if we double the vitamin D intake, we might double the 25-hydroxy D level. Okay. But it doesn't go up that fast. And we now know out to at least 40 or 50,000 international units per day, it is very unlikely that anybody, even the most sensitive, most responsive individual, it's very unlikely that anybody would get into a potentially toxic range. So we've got that experience for the first time.
That is great. One of the things that we, Grassroots Health, are doing as a public health organization has been to convey to the physicians and the clinicians and the general public, of course, what do I need to take when? And what I see out of this study is a better definition of that. Like if I'm at 20 nanograms per milliliter. What, excuse me, what do I need to take to get to 40? If I'm at 40 and I want to get at 50, what do I need to take? And what the study shows very clearly is that if you're already at 40 and just want to get higher, you're going to have to take more than twice as much as you did to get from 20 to 40.
Yes,
and I think that's very significant.
It's typical for most body systems. If you're deficient in something such as thyroid hormone,
Right.
or any number of other systems, that the response to a small dose is bigger starting from zero
Good point.
than it is when you're already up close to an adequate level. It takes a lot more to top off and get up to where you want to be than you might have expected.
Yes.
And you see, that's one of the things that this grassroots data has been able to make clear to us. We are now able to quantify that, so we know exactly what the average response would be going from level A to a desired level B, whatever that may be.
Magic. What would you like to see as the practical outcome of this study? What do you think could be the best use of this data right now?
Well, I think one of the best uses would be the assurance of people who are in a policy-making position, nutritional policy, a public health policy, legislation of one kind or another. They need to get a comfort with the fact that what we're talking about is safe. Even the high doses that may be required to ensure that we leave nobody behind.
Right.
They need to have comfort that that's safe. Because you're always worried about possible adverse effects that you hadn't anticipated.
Right.
And once again, with the grassroots database, with more than 8,000 individuals enrolled, we begin to get information that would have been extremely difficult for an individual investigator in a university doing a study.
Right.
How could you get that many people? Probably couldn't.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. All right.
Great.
Thank you.